Days ago, Alpha Intel did an interview with It's Timmy and Imperial How, two of the biggest streamers on Apex Legends in today's world, and asked them about the state of the game, in which we got pretty bad news. Hal saying things like he is scared, fearful of the future of the game, considering it just looks like it's going downhill. Also saying that if you're not only going to do the bare minimum, you're just going to go downhill even gradually. And Hal also said weeks ago that he's worried that many pros and creators will leave the game as soon as Champs ends in just about 2 months from now. Now, after all of this happened, literally just hours ago, they followed up with even more from an exclusive interview between the two creators and pro players, in which they said Respawn just needs to buff every character to a point where they're all useful and strong. And then they follow up by saying, I always think they need to buff everything. And in this explicit article, they're basically calling for a different version of Apex that I don't really think is a bad idea. More specifically saying, Timmy, things like the Newcastle buff aren't really that bad. Obviously he's broken, but he's broken because he's the only one who's as good as he is. But if you brought back the old Horizon on launch, is Newcastle still as good as he is? If you brought back OG Seer, is Newcastle still as good as he is? If you brought back some of the old mechanics of Lifeline that allowed you to have the shield res while doing the dock res, is Newcastle still as good as he is? The question basically is Respawn making a mistake by buffing one legend and leaving the others underbuffed, or should they just go back and put every legend at their prime? Timmy then said, once again, if you bring back the original Pathfinder, or not the original, but Hal chimes in and says, yeah, the peak version, like before season 3 where they added the delay of Pathfinder's grapple. If you had the instant, a lot of you don't even know what that instant grapple felt like. It got nerfed before you even started playing the game, most likely. That instant grapple, no cooldown based on the distance that you go. Imagine just like a 10-second, whatever cooldown it was, with instant grapples going as far as you can now with the supercharged zip lines and all the new, things that they've changed about Pathfinder. If we just made everybody back at their peak version, maybe the game is in a more fresh and balanced slash not that balanced, but at least everybody's still having a good time scenario. Timmy follows it up saying, yes, like the peak of every character, then the game would be more fun. You get to play whatever you want in whatever style you want. They just need to buff every character to a point where they're all useful and strong, and then the ones that are bad, they just need to rework them. Like Mirage has been bad for so long, and I know they want to keep the fact in that he's got Mirage clones and stuff like that, but we're kind of past the point, you know what I mean? We're past season 0 where people were getting fooled by Mirage decoys, or even if they do get fooled, it's not really that big of a deal if they shoot it. It's not that big of a punishment. Mirage just is and has been bad for a very long time. So basically, as you've gathered from the conversation so far, they need to buff everything, and when things are too strong, it makes room for content. Random things get to happen that make you go, bro, you know what I mean? Like, people start freaking out. It's viral TikTok videos that come after these crazy buffs. So that's when Hal said he actually proposed this idea before on stream, but not as a fix, but he's always agreed that there should be some game mode where you can just test out and try out new things. I know Apex likes to use game modes, limited time modes, to test things as a way to gather data to see what's good or bad, but maybe we should have some sort of beta-like type mode where you can basically say it's a new mode, but it's just like an always open mode. And similar to how Deadlock has this Hero Labs and, Sandbox, and you can go in and test these abilities out, see how they work, see what they play like. Because we're getting to the point now where, yeah, the meta was broken for a bit, it was different, it was fresh for a bit, but season 23 peaked at 225,795 players on Steam, which is 32% lower compared to season 22. And unfortunately, the game is still going downward, even though season 22 was already a record low, despite having a new map. It's obvious this game is struggling. Someone had also posted a day ago on Reddit saying, I gave it a fair shot, but I'm tired of this meta. Every team is just having triple support players. The enemy team is beating out of position. You down one right in the open, you push, suddenly 4 different barriers go up, they're fully healed, and now you're out of position and you die. You can't out damage them at distance since they basically have infinite heals, and you can't punish bad positioning because they will make anything a defensible position. You can't push an early down or a high damage dealt because of how fast they can heal up, when the only option is to fight with fire. Any competitive game loses most of its appeal. We had a taste. Can we please nerf the supports now? Seeing how the casual players are complaining about a lot of the same things that the competitive players are complaining about, I definitely think it's fair that these pro players and content creators, Imperial, Hal, and Timmy, make a fair point that maybe we should just buff everything. Should also add that that post was not posted in the competitive Apex Reddit thread, but just the generic Apex thread, which makes me think this is a casual community saying this. So what are your thoughts on the Apex creators and pro players saying that we need to buff everything? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things inside of the world of Apex Legends news, drama, stories, and much more. And until the next time, we'll see you all later.